Hey, David McGuffin here. Welcome to our Tour Expo. It is the 22nd of July, and we're broadcasting live from here in Middleburg, Florida at my home. Thank you all for joining in. We have a group of friends here as well that are going to be coming on and talking about their travels with us throughout Europe as well. And so we've got a great program in store for you tonight, dealing with France, the best of France, the best of the Med, and our London, Paris, and Rome tour. But before we get into that, let me give a couple of commercials. First of all, we have all our 2026 tours online, ready to go. They're ready for booking. And we have quite a few people already booked up, ready to go. To book a tour, you give a $400 deposit, and you don't have to pay anything else until 3 months. 3 months until the 3 months until the tour before the tour begins. And so we'd love to have you join that, and we're offering a $100 discount on any tour from for 2026. So all you have to do is go to davidmcguffin.com, sign on, and look at the tour, select one, and sign up for it. In addition to that, we have about 5 tours or maybe 7 tours that are available for the remainder of the year from from August through December. And we're offering a $300 discount on any of those tours. And quickly, I'll run through those. They are the Best of Ireland coming up really quickly, August 16th. It's starting in Galway and making its way on over to Dublin. The Taste of Ireland starts in Galway as well and makes its way to Dublin. The Best of Ireland starts in, actually, the Best of Ireland is no longer available. Let's just forget that. So the Taste of Ireland is available. The Best of Scotland and Wales, that looks like it starts the 23rd of September. $300 off of that, going from Edinburgh all the way down to North Wales, and we end up in Manchester, England Airport. The Best of Sicily. Actually, I'm leading this tour for the first time since COVID, and I'm looking forward to doing that. We have a great group of people, probably, I think we have about 10 people on it at the moment, and we can take a couple of 3 more people if you'd like to go. That's not until the end of September, the last week of September, first week of October. The Best of Sicily in 11 days. And then our staple tours, the Essence of Italy and the Best of Italy, both beginning the 21st of October. And you can see that information there as well. $300 off on all of those. And then right after the Thanksgiving, we kick off our Christmas market tours. There are 7-night tours, Sunday to Sunday. And on that, our first one is our Christmas markets in Central Europe. We begin in Budapest and work our way back to Munich. And we'd love to have you join those dates, November the 30th through December the 7th. And our classic Christmas market tour beginning in Munich and making its way around Neuschwanstein Castle, Rothenburg on the Tauber, Nuremberg, and back to Munich beginning the 7th of December. Any of those things strike your fancy? Go to davidmcguffin.com, find the tour, sign up, and we will be happy to deduct that $300 off straight away for you. In addition to all of that, thank you for watching tonight or any of the other 8 nights that we're presenting this Tour Expo. So I thank you for doing that. And as a way of thanking you for it, we're entering your name into a drawing for a free tour to Tuscany for our Tuscan Villa vacation next year, either in May or in September. And that tour is for 2 people. So you get to Rome and Florence, and we take care of everything from that point on. And we'd love to have you be a part of that. So you're registered already if you're watching and participating in this webinar. And any other night that you do, you're registered and also entered into that drawing for up to 8 times if you watched all 8 episodes and participated in that. And finally, on Thursday night of this week, we're doing a wrap-up of everything. And what I hope to do is have some of you either text me, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, some video message or audio message telling me about your experiences on a David McGuffin tour. What was your most memorable experience? What did you do on tour that you can't do at home? Like I always say, I was just recently in Paris, 11 o'clock at night. I looked up and the Eiffel Tower was twinkling. I said, wait, I cannot do that in Middleburg, Florida, in my hometown. So you think about that or anything else you'd like to contribute. There's been a number of people who've already done that the last 2 days. And as a way of thanks, I thank you for doing that. But as a way of thanks, we'll also give you another additional entry into that drawing for the Villa Vacation Tour. I'm dwelling on this slide to give you a chance to take a photo of it or a screenshot of it so you know where to go and know how to contact me. This down on the bottom right hand corner is Claudia Del Duca. She owns the villa that we go to, Marcampo, and is a sommelier and a hotelier and a restaurateur, just a Jill of all trades, not a jack of all trades, a Jill of all trades. And she's just a wonderful friend, and we so much enjoy going to visit with her. And that photo she and I took right after these folks did their cooking class and prepared a 5-course meal for us, and we're sitting down to eat it. Okay, that's all the advertisement. From there, we're going to talk about the Best of France tour. Now, we have an 11-day tour that I call the Best of France. Now, it's the Best of France, really the best of Northern France, because we're also going to talk about the Best of the Med, which spends a lot of time in France as well. But let me talk to you about what I call my Best of France tour. It begins and ends in Paris. As you can see, I've got a map there and a little route, and we're spending 3 days in Paris at the beginning. But I'm not going to talk about Paris right now. We're going to save that to the end because we're doing another segment on London, Paris, and Rome city tour. So I'll come back to Paris shortly. But for now, let's just pretend on that tour we've been in Paris for 3 days and enjoyed the twinkling Eiffel Tower and all of that. And we head south and we go to the region of Burgundy. Burgundy is a famous wine region. There's two really famous ones, Bordeaux, which is on the Atlantic coast, and Burgundy, which is in the cities in the center of the country there. You can see where it is. So we go to Burgundy, we stay in the small little town of Beaune, and these vineyards here are just all over the place, and it's famous for the Burgundy wine. Now, sometimes we think Burgundy wine is the color, but no, Burgundy is the region. In French, it's called Bourgogne, and and we translate it as Burgundy. So it has nothing to do with the color. As a matter of fact, most of the famous, most expensive Burgundy wines are white wines. But there's a lot of red as well. And so these hills along the way are just loaded with vineyards. Now, before we get to Beaune, we stop in this small little town called Vézelay. Let me talk to you about it. Hey, David McGuffin here. I am in a charming little village in France called Vézelay. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This little village dates from back in the 12th century, and it stretches out up this hill here behind me to an abbey that's very famous. So let's take a stroll up the main street and talk a little bit about the town of Vézelay. So that street leads up the hill to a church, and pilgrims come here. Those are not the pilgrims that we think of that ate turkey and all that stuff, but pilgrims that are Christians who are making their pilgrimage to particular places. And from here in Vézelay, the pilgrimage begins and heads on to Spain to Santiago de Compostela. And so it's a long trek across there, but this is where one of the pilgrimage routes begins in Vézelay. This street there on the left-hand side stretches up the hill, and it's just a charming little city, about 6 restaurants, and that's what people come here for. It's not a tourist town, really. There's no tour buses, and I stopped by here because one of my friends in France said, David, you need to go here. And he actually took me here. And so we went and had lunch, and I added that to my tour route and to a stop on this tour. Here I am at the top. At the top of town here in Vézelay is the Abbey of Vézelay, dating from the 12th century. It's historically important for a couple of things. Number one, being a departure point for the Way of St. James on the route, the walking pilgrimage route on the way to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. The second most important reason is that this was also the site where Philip Augusta and King Richard the Lionhearted set off for the Third Crusade over to fight the Moors. So let's go in and take a look around the Abbey and Cathedral here in Vézelay. And we're not going to take a look around inside because I want you to go there and see it yourself, because we're going to see many churches in France, that's for sure. And but I wanted to show you in the summertime, this place is loaded with these yellow flowers. These fields that are loaded with the plant called rapeseed, and it makes what we know as canola oil. And so those are bright yellow fields all over the place. And in Europe, it's called rapeseed oil, but because of the word rape in English, the anglicized everything and made, I don't know, canola is a made up word because I don't know what it is. I'm not a food expert. You can tell that, right? Okay, so here I am in the vineyards of Beaune. David McGuffin here in the vineyards of Beaune, France, in the region of Burgundy. These grapes here are Pinot Noir grapes. It appears that they have not been harvested yet because there is a huge group of fruit on these vines. Now, we understand that these Pinot Noir grapes produce the red wine here in Burgundy, and it's the Chardonnay grape that produces the white wine right here in Burgundy. This whole region, this valley here, is the grandest valley in all of Burgundy. It's called the Golden Valley, the Côte d'Or, the Golden Valley. Up on the hills is called O. The hills are H-A-U-T-E-S, I think. Old Côte d'Or, meaning up on the hills of the Côte d'Or. Anyway, this is some of the best grapes and the best wine produced right here in Beaune in all of the world. Your adventure starts right here from Burgundy with David McGuffin, Exploring Europe. And something unique that we do on this particular tour is we walk out of town and we go to these vineyards, and just right outside of town, and you can see, smell. We don't pick any grapes or anything, but we can see how things are harvested and how things are grown. This is also a very famous town and a region for food as well. You can see some snails over there, escargot. I really love getting those in Burgundy. And then the middle picture is beef Bourgogne, or beef Burgundy. So it's beef. Basically, we think of it as like a Sunday roast cooked with ham, carrots, and onions and all of that stuff. And then, of course, it's very famous for the wine. So wine shops are all over town, and underneath the town are the wine caves where all of the wine that is produced is stored and aged. So the whole town from the basement on up is multi-purpose and all devoted for wine and cuisine. Also, there's a famous building there on the right-hand side called the Hospice of Beaune, the Hospital of Beaune. And from the early 1100s, it accepted people in who needed free care. And we get our word hospice, the English word hospice, from that French word as well. And it originated right here in the city of Beaune. From Beaune, we get our bus or whatever our mode of transportation is and head over to the west, and we go to another famous wine valley called the Loire Wine Valley, or the Loire Valley. The Loire is a river that flows through the region, and the town we kind of set up near is called Amboise. And this is some images from Amboise. The bright building, yellow building, is a chateau, and there's a lot of chateaus there because back in the 14 and 1500s, the kings and queens and nobility wanted to get out of Paris, and this was a close place to go to, a day's ride away by horse and carriage, and they would get out of Paris and go to their summer chateaus. So Beaune is a very Amboise is a very cool town to go to, and one that's loaded with chateaus, again with wine and fine food as well. There's a steak frite on the left-hand side. Someone got looks like a piece of salmon as well. Of course, that's not fresh. And then the friend is fresh, but it's not fresh out of the river there. It comes from the Atlantic Ocean, let's put it that way. And the wine there is wonderful too. They have red and white varieties as well. And nearby is plenty of chateaus, about 30 of them in the region. And here is Chenonceau. Hey, David McGuffin here. Join me today as we have a look around Chateau Chenonceau here in the Loire River Valley. Gosh, I didn't talk near long enough for that. So this chateau here is right on the River Cher, and you can see the piece on the left hand, on the right hand side going back, crosses is actually on a bridge crossing the river. It's just beautiful gardens, a beautiful chateau. It's been inhabited by several noble families, and this is the interior. You know, when you go to one of these chateaus or one of these castles, even if you go to any of the big castles all over Europe, you walk through the king's bedroom and the king's antechamber and the queen's bedroom and the queen's antechamber, and it gets old to see the same thing over and over again. But this has some clarity and some distance to it because this hallway used to be the bridge. They covered over the bridge and then put artwork and everything on all the alcoves and everything. And I was infatuated too with the kitchen down there, which is down in one of the little areas that holds up the bridge. And this is where all the staff was sweating away down below river level, fixing all the food for the nobility. We often stay at this little chateau. It's not a chateau, but it's a very nice little inn just outside of town. And there's only about 20 people that can stay there. So we try to book that. And then one of the nights, there's a private dinner for just the guests there. And it's the chef's choice. And so we don't even know what the menu is, but it is always wonderful and fantastic and a great way to experience the countryside of the Loire Valley. From there, we head on out further to the west to Brittany. That peninsula that sticks out there into the Atlantic Ocean is Brittany. And it is a Celtic part of France, meaning that when the Celts were pushed to the extremities of Europe way back in the 400s or so, 400 BC, Brittany was about as far as they could go, and they were pushed there, so they settled there. But other Celts settled in Ireland and Scotland and Wales as well. So we're going to go to this little small town called Dinan. It's a half-timbered town, meaning that it kind of looks like the towns in Germany and Austria and all of that, because they build it out of timbers and then stack it up with stucco and everything in between all of that. So this is just a wonderful little town. We take a break and have a lunch break there along the river, and you can see the town is way up high above that river, the town of Dinan. And from there, we go around the corner and come up to the famous Mont Saint-Michel. This is an abbey that was built out there in the 900s, or even before that. The island was there. So a Christian abbey was built there, and monks went out there and continued to build. As a matter of fact, the image of exploring Europe that I have is my perception of the silhouette of that I drew way back in the day. So that's where that inspiration for my Exploring Europe logo comes from. You see it right there on my shirt. Yeah. Hey, from the Abbey St. Michel, the Sacred Mount of St. Michael. We're on our Best of France tour. You should come to France with me. What a great experience we have here today. Hey, your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. Inside that abbey, at the very, very top of it, it's just so opulent with Gothic architecture. It's just fantastic, and you have to climb to the top of the hill and go in there, and you can spend 2 or 3 hours up there. Not only do you have wonderful history and vistas inside, but going out onto the esplanade and everything else, you have tons of views across the water. Now, on our first tour expo, talking about my beginnings, my daughter Jamie and Brian were here with me. And Jamie had a story. You'll have to go back and look at the archives of it. She had a story about going out from Mont Saint-Michel on the mud flats there. And the tide comes in very, very quickly. It's said it comes in as quick as a horse gallops. And so she got stuck out there. And so you'll have to listen to her story on that, on the first July 14th version of our tour expo. Also up there on that mountain, you can see we got fresh oysters, just wonderful. There's an image of St. Michael, the Archangel, and a look at that girl down at the bottom looking up at that castle thinking, oh my gosh, I got to go all the way up there to that church to get in that monastery up there. And this is a beautiful, you can see that the tide is in. The tide surrounds the entire island. The water is, and this is in the evening walking back from that to the mainland. So just a beautiful place to go. We stay one night in that area. Sometimes we stay on the island, but it's getting more and more difficult to do that. So just less than a mile on this causeway bridge that goes back to the mainland are several hotels that we stay in. And from there, we go to Normandy. And Normandy, we know, as Americans know Normandy as being the place for the World War II D-Day landings on June the 6th, 1944. And so we spend a couple of days there as well on this particular tour, visiting the American Cemetery, Normandy American Cemetery, where over 9,000 servicemen and women are buried who had lost their lives liberating the continent of Europe and also protecting our freedom as well. We also visit this battlement. This is a German battlement. It's still intact, just like it was, and it was never bombed because they abandoned it. The Germans abandoned it before D-Day. I tell you what, anywhere you go there, it's so reverent because of all the death on both sides that happened there. And just walking around this, there's no one talking, no one anything as well. Now, nearby, we stayed at a nice hotel, and we were right near the town of Bayeux, or the port of Bayeux, and I found this lobster. Oh. This is a lobster with calvados sauce on it, yeah, flambéed in calvados. It was really good. Merci. Merci. What do you think, Mr. Eugene?
I think it looks real good.
Yeah, you got yours the same way?
I think that lobster tail has got my name on it. At least a couple of bites.
I know it.
Oh, no, you didn't want it earlier.
I didn't want it.
Yeah, the lady that said it's got her name on it, she said, I don't want a lobster. I don't want to have to get my hands all dirty cracking it and everything. But They brought it out just like that. It was wonderful. And you can see on the left-hand side where that guy brought them out to us and said, "Are these two okay for you? Or do you want something bigger?" So we chose those two and away we went. That was a great thing. There's also a town called Aramash nearby as well. And that was famous for Port Winston, where Churchill set up an artificial harbor and the days beyond D-Day. It was just amazing what they did mechanically to get supplies and armaments all off ships and onto the mainland. And this is over at Utah Beach, just down from the American Cemetery. And then from there, we do go to Paris. And again, we go to Paris for one night and we finish up this tour. And again, I'm going to talk to you of Paris, and my friends John and Audrey are going to join in with that too in just a few minutes. So that's our Best of France tour in 11 days. That's the whole itinerary for it. So I hope this has helped you make a plan to join me in France next year, 2026. With that said, we're going to go south and we're going to do the Best of the Med tour. And this has 3 different countries in it. It has Spain and it also has France and Italy, our favorite places along the coast. And Donald and Bernice were on this tour with us in October. You guys want to come over here and help me talk through some of these images? Oh, I think we're all here. Yep. We might have to cozy up a little bit. Everybody, we can also. Yeah, you guys, we didn't know each other until last October, sort of. Although I did remember that as when I was a band director in another life, your daughter was in color guard as well. So I guess we knew each other, but we didn't really know each other until last October when Charlotte and I and you guys were traveling around. And so we don't have any planned things to say so much other than we started in Barcelona, Spain. So you guys showed up there, flew into Barcelona, and we saw this. So what do you think? What was your impression and what did you enjoy most? One of you guys can speak, or both of you, about Barcelona.
She's going to leave it up to me. Okay.
No.
Well, first off, it was just a pleasure traveling across the Med with Charlotte and Dave. Great time. Would highly suggest it. I think why I really clued in on this trip was it just appeared to be a whole lot of architecture, whether it was Roman stuff or the church, the cathedral where we're at, but just amazing architectural, very friendly people, most of them bilingual, so we didn't really struggle with any of that. But just a great time in Barcelona looking at all the architecture and enjoying the food.
Yeah, this photo on the left-hand side is the old cathedral in the Gothic quarter, the old quarter, and that's inside the cathedral and some of the icons that are in there. And this is a city hall, and also right across from it is the Catalan, which is the region of Spain, the Catalan area, administrative buildings. And I think, I took you back here where these Roman columns were down below, and it was a Roman city back in the day in the first and second century AD, and there was a Roman colony there, and lo and behold, buried beneath all this stuff, there's something that's 4 stories tall columns that were part of a temple to Zeus or something.
That was crazy just to walk down those stairs and into that area, and then there just stood in eons of time, stuff like that. It's just amazing.
Right. This is Las Ramblas, or La Rambla, plural or not. And we went here. It's a place where tourists have to go, but it is very, very touristy. And you have a lot of vendors worth of scrap, and you also have a lot of restaurateurs that want to come out and sell you a cheap meal, but comes with expensive drinks. So I kind of steer clear of that, but you have to go there because it's the main drag that leads from the main city center down to the port area. And then we also walked up to the area which is called the Block of Discord. You talked about architecture, Don. What do you think about all those?
That was Bernice. You want to clue on this? Do you remember a lot of this as we were walking up through there? Just a lot of old buildings, a lot of new, architecture and old architecture where they kind of met together. And Dave just did a fantastic job, describing all those little nuances of walking up that street. It was very, very interesting, very, very knowledgeable.
Yeah, you can see that there are no straight lines anywhere. And this Modernisme architectural style developed at the turn of the 20th century. And it was fostered by Antonio Gaudi, who lived there and wanted to get out of the straight type of building designs and everything else. So that's called the Block of Discord because there's several houses up and down that area or mansions up and down that street that are a part of that. And then from there, we also go to the Grand Cathedral, which is probably the biggest tourist attraction and just attraction in Barcelona.
Hey, David McGuffin here in Barcelona, Spain at La Sagrada Familia. As you can see, the Antonio Gaudi Church, Gaudi took over this project in 1883, worked on it until 1926 at his death, and it's continued on. It's due to be totally completed by 2026, just in a couple of years from now. Right now, just to date this thing, we are in October of 2024. So I hope you enjoy looking around La Sagrada Familia and this wonderful example of modernista architectural style by Antonio Gaudi.
I think what I found so interesting about this trip to the cathedral, Dave, was that I first visited when my dad was overseas and he was stationed there, and it was nothing but the metal frame, and they were just starting on it. And I still owe Dave some pictures on that one.
Yeah.
Because the first time I visited this, I think I was about 2 years old. And then to come back when I'm in my 60s to see it and just see how much it's changed was pretty unique.
The stained glass and all of that, it changes with the way the sun rotates. And of course, most churches are oriented east to west. And so it changes by the day. So Gaudi designed it so that for the afternoon setting sun, it's all these red, huge colors that are there. And inside is just amazing. You just cannot even, photos don't describe it all. And you can just see, I think this is a video of me panning up. You were looking at that?
Yes. Beautiful, overwhelming because there's so much to see. There's so many details. And even on the outside, there's a lot of details. You can spend hours just looking at everything, and you just don't have enough time to look at everything because it's massive, but breathtaking.
Yeah. I think the first time Charlotte and I went there, I don't even recall when it was, but it was open to the sky. There was no roof, no ceiling or anything there. And we were talking earlier, Don, about the main entrance is laying in wait because of the apartments that were built over the last 100 years there. And although the land was deeded for this cathedral, over the last 100 years, I guess the government or somebody said, well, go ahead and build these apartments everywhere. And now there's no entrance, but those apartments have to be torn down in the next 18 months and for the grand entrance to be finished. So we'll see. We'll see. We're going back. We had some friends on last night, Jim and Valerie said, we're going back in 2026 to see the whole shebang. From there in Carcassonne, what did we do? Did we get on a train there?
Yes.
We got on a train to Carcassonne.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Jumped on a train.
And then we went into France, and we ended up here at this old historic walled city. Am I saying it right, Charlotte? Carcassonne? Okay. She always corrects me, but never. Okay. Carcassonne. That's I think we took this on the trip with you guys as well.
Yes.
That picture.
That was a beautiful field. The vines, the grapes had already been harvested, and they were turning from green to gold to red, and that was just a beautiful area right there. And this is the old walled city. It's a huge town as well down below, but we concentrate on this walled city. You go inside, you can walk from one side to the other in 15 minutes. And a lot of souvenir shops, a lot of restaurants and everything there. An old well inside there, and plenty of places to eat in this main square, this tree-covered square. I don't remember what we did dining-wise there, but did we?
Food was good.
Yeah.
I remember that. It
Yeah.
was delicious.
That region of France usually has these dishes that are baked in a ceramic dish, and there's a word for it, and cassoulet. Yeah, cassoulet, a cassoulet, and it has beans and sausages and everything in it as well. So that's probably something we probably got there at one of these restaurants. From Carcassonne, we go further down the coast, the best of the Med, to the town of Arles. And in Arles, we stay there at one night as well. We were in Carcassonne one night, Arles one night. And in Arles, it's got a Roman amphitheater, or you might know the word Colosseum. I don't know what that was all about, but that was on a video at some point I shot there. But you can see it's pretty well intact. And I recall that we also, before we even got into the city, we went to this museum as the first time for me and Charlotte as well. That kind of had a diorama of what the city looked like back in the Roman times, and also had this boat they recovered from the river that dated from the Roman times, from the 1st century AD as well. So that museum is well worth a visit before you go into the town, because it gives you just such a great historical perspective of what you're going to see.
We were in there 2-3 hours.
Yeah. Long time.
It's really
right. Nice. And it's not overbearing. It's not like walking through the Louvre where there are rooms and rooms. You could see everything in that amount of time, but it was wonderful. And then we went into the town center. And again, it's situated on the river, and you see some of the streets, and there was a famous artist who resided there for a few months back in the 1930s. Let's see, that would be after World War II a little bit. No, sorry. In the early part of the 20th century. And my gosh, it's Starry Night and the name's escaping me. Y'all remember? Yes. Van Gogh. Yeah. Van Gogh. Okay. Yeah. I've seen so many Van Goghs everywhere I've been. I've been to the Netherlands, and just the last few weeks is killing me. I can't believe it. Everywhere you go, there's a Van Gogh. Or as they say, in his real name, they really called him Van Gogh. So that's how they pronounced it. But he was there and painted and used these images to paint some of these impressionistic images that he was famous for. And that yellow building was one, and on the river where he painted Starry Night as well. And I also just put in a little...
You remember what we did when we found the picture for the Starry Night where we were at?
Yeah, I remember, but we couldn't find it.
Well, we finally did find it, but then also I think it was in that area. A lot of people may not be watching this from the Jacksonville area, but we have in St. Augustine the Bridge of Lions. Well, we made a little bit farther walk and found the Lions Bridge that was bombed out, I think, in 1944. But it was just, some of the similarities, and just seeing stuff like that that were unique that Dave was able to put us in the right direction that I just, I don't think you get that on any other tour.
Right. I remember walking down that river, looking and looking. I said, I know there's a placard here somewhere that has it. I know. Where is it? Where is it? And then we were where we had dinner that night. Remember, there was supposed to be one. Or, yeah.
And somebody hit it.
Yeah.
Somebody took it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, we had dinner.
Yeah, that's right. And from there, we go up into the Luberon, which are the mountains that lead up to into France, into Provence, France. And we set up for 2 nights in this small little town called Beaulieu. Beaulieu. I'm glad I got helpers here. Beaulieu, and a really nice little residence hotel there. And so we spent some downtime there. I remember it rained one of the nights, and we ended up going to really the only restaurant that was open. What did we have? Pizza?
It was like an Italian.
They especially made us an antipasto.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. And then one of the days I thought we did a market there.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Well, one of the days we went to the Pont de Garde. I'll get to the market, I think, in a moment. But can you see that? That's not me when I was a young guy with long hair. That was back in the, I don't know when it was, in the 2007, 6, 8, somewhere around there. I was somewhere I was going crazy. I don't know why. But then there's Charlotte and I as well. So this is the Pont de Garde. It's an aqueduct that goes for about 7 miles that the Romans built to bring water to the city of Nîmes. And so it's amazing that it goes across this river valley as well. And the Luberon area is just hills with small little towns all over the place. And this was looking from our hotel across that valley with that mist down there, vineyards down there, to the next town over, I think, called Gordes. I don't know how you pronounce that in French, but what?
I don't know how Bernice feels about this one, but this was probably my favorite overnight stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, our view from our window from our hotel was just
very quaint.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And also what was really cool, because we were there in October, in that little town, they had their little Halloween. Remember that? Remember that? They were all in their little costumes, and they were playing music and throwing out candy. The kids had a blast, and we did too.
You were telling us about just kind of celebrate
cool.
stuff like that.
Right.
That was really neat.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. And then we had gone to one of those markets, and I had bought some cheese and stuff. And we came back, and everybody got something. And we remember we went down into the kitchen of that place.
Yep.
And we had it all to ourselves and had our own dinner down there in our hotel.
That was really nice.
Yeah. That's the town of Beaulieu there on the right-hand side. And I don't know when we had that food, but that's some of the typical food from the area. And then we went to this market Charlotte found a few years back, L'Île-sur-la-Sorgue. How's that? La Sorgue. And it has a Sunday market that it's not for tourists. It's for the locals. They come to it. And my gosh, we could hardly find a place to park. As a matter of fact, I think I let y'all out and had to go a mile away to park. Yes, and it was just so wonderful to go here and to see the normal stuff on this town's on the river, but cheesemongers, cheese vendors there, all kind of flowers. This is the main street going up to the cathedral. You can see all of the kiosks, the little umbrellas where vendors are selling all of their stuff. You could make a meal if you wanted to, get all the food and wine you wanted to right there to make a meal and picnic on the river if you wanted to. It was a great experience. And we kind of design our tour so that we are in this area on a Sunday because it's such a unique experience. What do y'all think about that? Yeah,
I loved it. I loved that.
Go ahead.
When we were in the market, because we ended up picking out what we wanted, and everybody else kind of picked out what they wanted. And come to find out, when we came together, we actually had a meal.
Yeah.
And we had that for dinner that night.
Right.
And that was so good.
It was nice to buy like souvenirs and stuff
Yeah,
from
that
there,
too.
because I really kind of felt that those were like local stuff and not,
Right.
a tourist trap. And it
Yeah.
was definitely the locals from all the adjacent towns.
All right. Yeah. From there, we left the mountains and went to the seaside, and we went to Nice. Now, I say Nice is you have to go because you're there. I'm doing the best of the Med, and we want to go to the French Riviera, and it changes with the seasons. So I've been going there for a long time. I think since 1993 was the first time that we went to Nice. And we were there in the summer and the beaches was loaded, but you can see a beautiful vista down through there. And you can imagine that's up on the castle or the castle hill. Looking down, the city sprawls up the hill on the right-hand side. And there's a photo I took some years ago of people on the beach. You can see it's not like a beach you would find with that rents out umbrellas and chairs, but it's everybody bring your own stuff and lay down and enjoy the beach. And in the evening, it's a nice promenade to walk along with a cool sea breeze blowing at you as well. There we are right there. We were in this square in the old city town of Nice. And so we got this table and we just had a wonderful time. You can see we have our jackets on, at least Charlotte and I do. It's a little chilly, but we had a great dinner there and enjoyed the ambiance and of just being outside and eating alla fresco there in Nice. I don't even remember what we had, but there wasn't a bad meal in this tour.
It wasn't a bad meal.
Yeah, right. From there, we cross over to the other country, to Italy. Now, we had a unique experience because what we do is we take the train from Nice to Italy. And I recall, maybe y'all tell them about it, because it was nothing I'd ever experienced.
Well, okay, so I will say that the train ride, the scenic view was amazing because most of the time all you saw was the Mediterranean, like the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah. It was just beautiful. And so if you're going to be on the train for 4 hours, it's nice to have a nice view. And so you just looked out and the time flew but it was crowded at first. I remember that.
Because Nice is not so far from the Italian border, let's say 30 miles. And we discovered that we knew Monaco. The big famous city of Monaco was there as well. So we happened to depart at rush hour where all of the workers who lived in Nice were going to Monaco to work for the day. And here we go with our suitcases. And there was not a place to sit down.
Not a place.
It was definitely shoulder to shoulder, chest to chest for the first 30 minutes or so. And we kept thinking, okay, it'll get better when we get here. The next stop. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse.
It was definitely chaos.
Yes.
I thought it was in New York City for a minute.
So, but once we got across the border and all the workers got off in Monaco and the next few cities, then we had an Italian train that took us all the way to the Cinque Terre. And as Bernice said, the beautiful vistas through the mountains, the tunnels, and the views of the Mediterranean are just wonderful. And it took us all the way to, Monterosso al Mare, the Italian Riviera, which we love to go to. Is known as the Cinque Terre, the 5 towns, the 5 villages. Now, we did not see these umbrellas and everything like this. And that photo right there, I don't know when I took it, but that is the crowdest I've ever seen. And that was in the height of the summer. But when we were there, we were on the cusp of the season and there were very few people in the water, we dipped our toes in, but that was about it. But this was very peaceful. This is a photo I snapped from the old town in Monterosso al Mare. What y'all think about the Cinque Terre?
I absolutely loved it. I think that for me, that was Italy was the most beautiful out of the three countries.
Mhm.
And our view from our room, I mean, Dave knocked it out of the park. Oh my gosh, just right there, our room. And we had a hot tub. Everybody had their own hot tub.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walked out of the gate, there was the boardwalk and then the
Does
Mediterranean.
anybody remember the lady that took care of us? Her name?
Well, yeah, what was her name? Because she was
That's what
amazing.
was so unique about it, to get up and she'd make us breakfast and everything.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
I remember she said, "Purtroppo."
She didn't speak it.
I'm sorry, I don't speak any English. Yeah.
I think she also made our trip,
Yes.
that much nicer.
Right.
So she was amazing.
Yeah.
I would definitely suggest to anybody that does this trip, if you've got the legs underneath you still, make one hike between the towns up through the cliffside, because
That is an experience.
You won't see that here
Right.
in Middleburg.
Yes.
There you got it.
But it was
Not gonna see
amazing.
that in Middleburg.
Yeah. We also did some pretty good wining and dining. There's a restaurant we love to go to. I'm sure we went to a restaurant Chalk there, and we're able to go there. And this on the right hand side is spaghetti chalk, and it's got mussels and seafood in it. And I don't know if we got a fish or not, but I usually, if people like fish, we get a whole fish they bring out, kind of like that lobster, and prepare it for us. So that's there. This is actually a couple of years ago, and so our friends Stephen right there there, and then in the very back end back there is the owner of the restaurant, Lorenzo Chalk, and so he's the chef, and he's there preparing fresh food all the time, 24/7 almost. It's just crazy, but it's probably the best place in Monterosso to eat. If you don't like seafood, they also have pesto, which is right there. You see it on the left-hand side. And this is fresh pesto al trofi. And trofi is a special type of pasta produced right there in the Cinque Terre. And then there was also those homemade ravioli with red sauce too. So if you don't like seafood, you certainly can find some land food there as well. And this is the next village down called Vernazza. This is this is our family there, Lillian and Lori and them. Yeah, so this is a famous little village in 2021. Nowadays, tourism is all back after the pandemic, and but we were there, and there was very few people there. But just a fantastic little village, pastel village there. And Don, you were talking about hiking up in the vineyards. That's the views you get when you hike up there. Yeah. Did y'all do that? Did you do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You went from where we stayed,
Vernazza.
Yep, over to Vernazza.
Vernazza.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's incredible how there's like great vineyards up there on the mountain side. It's like
After
how do they
what
do that?
Bernice did on day one there, she had me the next one. She paid the price.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's challenging. That's for sure.
It is.
It
It's
is challenging. Yes.
Short time, but it's challenging.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it's straight up.
Yeah.
It's straight up.
Straight
All
up.
stone steps
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
But the vistas and the vineyards and the orange groves, lemon groves, and all of that are just beautiful along the way. This is another vista going to the next village down to Monterola. And again, you see it's the mountains. I describe it the mountains falling into the seaside. And this is Rio Maggiore. This town goes right up the valley. That means the major river. So all these towns have a river coming through them. Nowadays, they're covered up. The streets are bridges over the river. But that's how they all developed back in the day. And there's us enjoying at least you guys in Charlotte, right? Enjoying your aperitivo, which is a staple.
State is right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The fence is right behind there is our
Yeah,
hotel.
right. Yeah. So a beautiful place. Beautiful place. Okay, that ends our The Best of the Med tour, because from that point, you can either go to Pisa and fly home. What did we do? Did we go?
I think you guys went to Rome.
Yeah, what did y'all do?
We went to Bologna.
Bologna. Oh, yeah.
Dave kicked us to the curb at that point in time and said, go figure it out. We didn't figure it out, but we managed to catch our flight back to the States in time.
But you took a train from there to Bologna.
Right.
Okay?
You helped Donnie navigate the train.
Got me going the right direction,
Right.
but when they decided to change tracks on us at the 11th hour,
Oh, no.
It was crazy. We were running like, like O.J. Simpson in the airport.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm really serious. Like he checked his phone, his app, and he said, our train's not here. It's back that way. And I mean, we were running through people like.
To be honest with you, that was what kind of made the trip even funner.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Especially once you got on the plane, right?
Yes.
You can look back and enjoy it.
Yeah. That was an experience.
Great
Yeah.
Right.
Good times. Good times.
What was maybe you've already told your highlights of what you enjoyed the most, and you've already said what you can't do in Middleburg. I think you answered all those questions. What else you want to say about the tour? Anything else? This was your first trip with us, I'm sure.
A couple of things that, I don't know that anybody else will get as lucky as Vernice and I, but when we went, it was just one other traveler with Dave and Charlotte, and it was just so nice to have Dave concentrating on us. And I would hope that any other people that book this tour are as fortunate as we are to, if you get lucky and have this little small group, it's absolutely amazing.
I mean, we were able to, because Dave rented a van and he was able to pull off the side of the road and let us like look around. And that was really cool. Because I think that if you were like on one of those coach buses, you're not able to do that.
Yeah.
But something this small, this intimate, that's what really made
Like
this
we
trip.
never felt like we were really
memorable.
rushed. Got to take the time to look at everything, and just it's hard for me to tell you any of the true highlights. And I forgot about Cinque Terre and where we stayed, but in Bonu, that was a nice stay, and just everything. Would definitely do it again.
Great.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for being a part of it. And as far as the group size, I don't think we've ever had more than six people on the Best of the Med tour. And so it really is kind of like an intimate trip. Charlotte's done it by herself a couple of times as well, but we were fortunate to get together and experience it with Don and Bernice as well, and with Roberta as well, who is from where is she?
Is it Colorado or
Vegas? Vegas, I think is where near Vegas is where she is now. Yeah, right. So if you're watching, Roberta, thanks for the memories on that too. Yeah,
I wish it was longer. I wish the trip was longer. Ended too quickly, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about London, Paris, and Rome with John and Audrey here. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we have a multifaceted story here. John and I were band directors. That's how we got to know each other. And I took the band he was a band director on to Ireland back in the day. Audra said, I don't want to be left out. So she started helping me out and working for Exploring Europe. She still calls me boss man for some reason. I don't know why. But that was years and years ago. And now they both are educators, but in the summertime, they love to lead tours for us. So they were most recently on this London, Paris, and Rome trip. So y'all have any other introductory comments you can think of real quick?
No, it's just been a blast.
Yeah.
And it's been a great 12, 13 years doing tours with you.
Right. So our London, Paris, Rome tour is a city tour. So there are 4 days in each of those cities. Now you can do London and Paris, and jump off. You can do Paris and Rome and jump on in Paris. But to get the whole experience of the three capital cities and the diversity between them, doing all 12 days is the way to do it. So you can see my icons over here are Big Ben in London. They are the Eiffel Tower in Rome, Eiffel Tower in Paris, and the Colosseum in Rome. I do know, I've talked a lot here. So remember earlier on, I said we'll get back to Paris. So we're going to get back to Paris now. And so John and Audrey, you can talk as both tourist travelers and as tour guides and give us a little idea of some of the groups that you've taken on this particular trip the last couple of years and maybe what you do in Paris. And I'll flip through these slides and you can talk about your experiences there. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So when we go to Paris, we've done those with small groups. So we also have done band tours that have been large in London. So that was the first tour we led in London, was one of John's band groups, I think. And so are we doing London first or Paris first?
London.
Okay, perfect. So London is just wonderful. The amazing thing about this tour is you're hitting these three iconic cities that you've seen in movies and you've read about stories about, or you've seen in TV shows, and you actually get to go and be in all those places. So London's a lot of fun. It's a great introduction because it is obviously English speaking. And so it's just a lot of fun. The first night we go in and we do a double-decker bus tour. And so I think that's a lot of fun because the double-decker buses are so iconic. And there's always a great guide on those buses that are just fun. John and I actually go every time we go on it with the tourists just because we love hearing the guides and the different little stories they'll tell. And so then the food in London is just great. It's more just home cooking, right? Comfort food, I would say. And then you get to see the London Eye is fun. A lot of groups choose to do that. Big Ben, obviously. You can find great Paddington Bear books about all the different places, which is always fun. I love to buy the kid books whenever we travel. I feel like it gives you the best information.
And then from there, I usually try to now. We haven't shared how we do this because I have like about 5 different guides that do the London, Paris, and Rome tours. So we all know the program, but we may show our folks that are traveling with us different things. But for me, I do that. I go out there on the bridge and do that. Look at Big Ben, Westminster Abbey across the way, Parliament Hall. And then we walk up this big street called Whitehall toward Trafalgar Square. And along the way are 2 icons that you have to stop and talk about. One is number 10 Downing Street over here on the left. And the other is the Horse Guards. Anybody want to talk about either of those at all?
Yeah, it's just nice to go by the Downing Street because that's where the Prime Minister lives. And you can see the guards outside the gate and both inside the gate. And so there's some history there. And Downing Street's right near the Churchill War Rooms as well, which is a place that a lot of people choose to visit on their free day. And then the Horse Guards, of course, you can see in this photo that people love taking pictures with them, but you can't get too close and you can't touch them.
Yeah. And then from there up to the top of that Whitehall Street, we get to on the right hand side Trafalgar Square with this big obelisk, big column. It's a column, not an obelisk. Nelson's obelisk. It's not an obelisk. Of Nelson's column, Lord Horatio Nelson, right? And so that's in Trafalgar Square, commemorating the Battle of Trafalgar that the English won down in the waters near Spain. And so it's a huge square, and oftentimes there are street performers or concerts going on there and things like that. And then I like to go into this little church next door. Do you remember what that one is? No, you probably don't. I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Because you don't recognize it. Remember, it's St. Martin's in the Fields. Sir Neville Mariner has an orchestra that performs there, and it's one of the world famous orchestras that are in that little church. and they perform there. And you can just show up at 8 o'clock at night and go in and listen to them perform, and it's just wonderful. And down in below, there's a crypt. All churches have crypts down below, but there's they've been innovative and are making some more money for their church, and they opened a cafe. So you sit around and wine and dine on the graves of your forefathers, I guess. Yeah. From Trafalgar Square, it's just a short way up to Piccadilly Circus there and to Chinatown. Do y'all delve into that?
Yeah, Chinatown's kind of on the corner of Piccadilly Circus, and it all goes all the way to Leicester Square.
Right. Yeah.
And Piccadilly Circus has got some big electronic billboards, just like you'd see in Times Square in New York City. So they kind of consider it a mini Times Square in a way. Named after the Piccadilles, the white collars that they used to wear were sold in that square. And so Piccadilly Circus, and circus means circle. So
Hey, I learned something new. I didn't know that. It was called a Piccadilly. There you go. Okay.
And Chinatown's great. You go eat
Yeah.
there, go more around, and their bakeries are really good too. If you go in and just start grabbing as many things as you can to take back and try later.
And then we kind of finish off the evening because this really is their first night. We usually go to a pub or something, and this is fish and chips on the top left, and a pie a beef pie, and they have all kind of pies. Everything always comes with veg, or those cooked carrots and cauliflower and broccoli, and they're good too. But every meal in England comes with veg all the time, and there's just a group of young ladies eating as well. From there, the next day we go. We usually join a local guide. There's several that I use, but our best, the one we enjoy being with, is Jackie. And Jackie takes you around for the whole day. And what do you do on those days?
Someday, you usually do changing of the guard, which is neat, but it's better than doing it on your own, because Jackie, or if Jackie's not there, whoever we're with or ourselves, will take you and kind of hit a couple different locations. So you're not just standing in front of the palace the whole time waiting for the changing of the guards. You get to see multiple places. Then you get to go to
Westminster Abbey.
So you get to see where
and
the weddings have been, and
take you on a full tour of Westminster.
So you get to go in the back door usually.
yes,
And but it's still very crowded in there. And there's over 300 people buried in there or commemorated in there. But everybody's got to go, and it's where it's where recently King Charles was crowned there as well. And so that's where all of that, the coronations always happen in Westminster Abbey.
And then we hop on the tube, the subway system, and we take that all the way to the Tower of London. And we go inside the Tower of London, and there's a little bit of a tour in there, including the crown jewels, and a little discussion on the green of where Anne Boleyn was beheaded. So this is one of the homes of Henry VIII, King Henry VIII.
Right.
you get lots of history on Henry VIII and all of his wives.
Yeah.
When you're there, it's very fun. You get to meet the beef eaters, who are what they call the guards there, as well as you can go see the ravens that the tower's known for.
And just to kind of tie into the France portion of the tour that I was talking about earlier, remember I was telling you about Brittany and the Normans from Normandy as well. So the Normans conquered England, and William the Conqueror came across the English Channel in 1066 from Brittany, and this is a fortress that he built straight away in around 1069 to 1074 or so. So it's grown over the centuries, but that's where it all began. And then we stay very often in the new area. It's not new, but it's the Docklands area, the former Docklands, where shipping happened all the time back in the 1800s and early part of the 20th century as well. But we stay at a nice hotel in this region.
Canary Wharf.
Yeah, in Canary Wharf. And so it's a good, and the connections are great right down into central London in about 15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The subway lets off right in front of it. So it's really nice on free days. The travelers our tourists are able to get in and out really easily.
That's that bridge that goes over to the Hilton,
Mhm.
isn't it? Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a beautiful place to go and very upscale and got a lot of nice, trendy restaurants and everything in the region as well.
It's been completely modernized. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And this is the Tower Bridge near the Tower of London. Many people think that's the London Bridge, but it's not. It's the Tower Bridge near the Tower of London that we talked about, William the Conqueror. And then the next day we go out to Windsor.
Yeah, we take a great trip out to Windsor Castle, hop on the tube at Paddington Station, or on the train at Paddington Station, and head out a very short ride out to Windsor Castle. And this is the home of the king, formerly the home of the queen. And this has been even back to Henry VIII, his home at that time. And there's a beautiful, not cathedral, we call it St. George's Chapel.
Right.
There's a chapel there. And but the tour of the castle is incredible, and there's an audio guide that you wear, and it's pretty incredible. Great audio guide throughout the inside of the castle.
Some of these places have rules that your tour guides can't lead in them, and so they have great audio guides that go with them. I think just keep the traffic moving inside of them. But it's a great little town. After you've done the castle and the cathedral, then there's lots of little places to grab food. There's lots of little shopping. There's a ton of gift shops with things that have the queen on them and now the king as well. Great little bookstores. Just a really cute little village to go visit, as well as being able to see the castle that I think is one of the longest inhabited castles.
Right. Yeah. And from there, we hop on the Eurostar train and go in about less than 3 hours underneath the English Channel up into France, and we arrive in the heart of Paris. And in Paris, we're there for 4 days. And I didn't mention, and maybe we should talk about sooner or later, about every city. People that are traveling with us have a one free day. They get to go out and do anything on their own. So they usually pre-plan. So like in London, like the recent group, what did they do on their free day?
They went out to the Warner Brothers studio and did the Harry Potter tour.
Okay.
And so they said it was just amazing. In fact, I think she was a Harry Potter fan and the husband maybe not as much, but he came back like he bought a wand and everything by the time it was done. And so it apparently won him over. So yeah, it was just, they had a blast. We went to that day while they were at the market, or while they were there, we went to Camden Market, which was great, and explored that.
Yeah.
So different groups do different things. A lot of people will go and do shows either that day or a different evening that they have free.
Right.
So those things as well. It's just a great time.
Yeah, and I think they went to see Wicked that night.
Mm-hmm.
We went to see a few years ago Anything Goes, which was incredible at the Barbican. So
Yeah. And then on to Paris. So we're getting we need to rush on a little bit because we could be here a long time. So let's get going here. So when we arrive in Paris, we try to stay very near the train station where we arrive, the Gare du Nord, and get set up in our hotel. And then immediately we get out and do like a city walking tour. And we have another really good friend of mine, Sylvanie, in Paris, who in recent years has been taking over and giving a personalized tour of that. And this is a group that I had in April or May of this year, and we're right there in front of Notre Dame. Did y'all go inside?
we did not.
Yeah.
You know, at this time it is open
Not
now.
usually,
Yeah.
but not this time.
So I went in April because, you know, it back, 5 years ago, the roof burnt all the way totally off, and it's been under reconstruction, and it is phenomenal inside. This is just one of the snapshots that I shot in there, but it used to be dark, gray, and dank. Now everything is bright and so vivid.
Great.
Notre Dame Cathedral. Yep. And then we take a cruise on the river, the Seine River, and that's pretty amazing too because we try to do it depending on the time of year, but as the sun is setting or something. So sometimes you get these wonderful views if it's not in the summer, because the summer the sun doesn't set until 10:58, which is what it was setting the last time I was there, and so it's crazy. But a cruise on the Seine, you get to see the major monuments and everything else, and then we have dinner together that first night, escargot. We have cook.
Chicken?
No, it's duck confit. Duck confit. Yeah, and some kind of a pasta or pastry there for dessert. And then one of the days we get to go to the Eiffel Tower. Somebody describe that while I run this video.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Going to the Eiffel Tower is it's one of my favorite things. No matter how many times I go, we just go nearby and get food, and you just get to sit on the lawn and watch the tower sparkle. I'll be honest, I'd rather sit on the lawn and watch it sparkle than go up it. So it's just so mesmerizing as it goes off. We've been blessed to take lots of groups there. We've also been blessed to take our teenagers there, and everybody's just in awe every time you do it.
And we'll stop by Rue Claire, which is a shopping street near the Eiffel Tower. And we'll pick up a baguette and some butter and maybe some wine, and we'll just lay on the grass and watch the Eiffel Tower and eat a baguette. And there's just absolutely nothing better than doing that.
Yeah.
That video I took just a few weeks ago. I was there with a student group from California, and they were all begging to go home at 10 o'clock. It was still daylight. I said, no, you've got to just find a seat. We'll sit on the grass because it doesn't twinkle until dark, and that's 11 o'clock. And they thanked me profusely for making them stay there. So it's a must see. And I agree, Audra, it's better to see it from below than going up into the top, I think.
You have to go up too. You have to.
Right.
But once you've done it, sitting outside and watching it is amazing.
Yeah, this is my favorite here.
Okay, talk about the Sacré-Cœur.
This is the Sacré-Cœur, the Sacred Heart Church in Montmartre. And what a cute little town. The town center is full of artists doing artwork in the moment. So they're doing caricatures, they're doing paintings, portraits, and also just landscapes and parts of the city. And all of this artwork is for sale. It's pretty incredible, but it's a very cute little town up on a hill. You get to ride something called the funicular up it, and you can also ride that down. It's lots of fun. Used to be a ton of windmills in the area, and you can see with the picture on the left, there is a windmill there, and there's a couple of them left on the hill. And one of the days that we went, we took our group on a Saturday, and they had markets set up. And so all kinds of stuff from antiques to modern things to clothes. And it was just a great walk up the hill to the city of Montmartre.
And for me, we usually have dinner up there somewhere. And this was a recent dinner. We were there, right there around the corner from this. It was right there in that restaurant. And then I like to walk them down the hill, and we go to the Moulin Rouge. Or we go outside the Moulin Rouge, which is a risque dinner theater that costs about €300 to go into. But I've never been in, but that's a great photo opportunity by the...
And directly across the street, catty corner to Moulin Rouge is, what are they called?
It's a dessert, and it's one of our favorite desserts called Merveilleuse. In this little building that's just to the right of the Moulin Rouge. And it's a wonderful little pastry that I cannot find anywhere, but I can find it in Paris, specifically here in Montmartre.
They now have a shop in London too.
Really? Oh, I'm going to look it up then, because I have no clue what that is.
Oh, it's
I learned something new.
Yeah,
we treated the whole group, and they were
Yeah.
Tell so we have a free day here. I know for me, I like to go out a little bit to the Canal Saint-Martin, or some people go to Versailles. But you, Audra, found this last group,
Well, our last group, I think they stayed in shops. They went back to Montmartre and got drawings of their daughters done, because they had a 10 and 7-year-old with us, which was super fun. They were amazing little travelers. And so they went and had portraits drawn of them, and then they did some shopping. John and I actually went out to Fontainebleau, which was phenomenal. It's actually where, so a lot of the Versailles and all those places were destroyed during the French Revolution. However, this is where Napoleon went and set up shop. And so it has Napoleon's throne room still in it. It has a museum for him. And then just an adorable little town with amazing food as well that we went to.
There's a forest that butts up against it, and so we actually went hiking as well.
Yeah, so if you like,
And that's just south of town, south of Paris away. Is it?
Yeah, very easy.
You took the train?
Took the train. It drops off right on the edge of town, and then they have a little bus that'll drop you right in front of the chateau.
And from there, from Paris, we also have to go and visit the most famous museum there, the Louvre Museum. And then there's a free day we just talked about. And the Louvre is it's the former palace of the kings and queens of France. And it's just endless works of art in there. And the most famous being the Mona Lisa, but it's really a letdown once you finally see it, because it really is about that size, a postcard size. And these, Charlotte's saying it's
a little bit bigger, but
16 by 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's smaller than you expected.
Yeah.
It's not.
And then these grand hallways with all the famous works of art, French works of art, Italian works of art. I'm standing here some years back behind my favorite painting, The Wedding at Cana. I really enjoyed that. It's a huge painting by Veronese, the Italian Venetian painter from the Renaissance. And of course, the Winged Victory of Samothrace as well is there, Venus de Milo, and a lot of other stuff.
Well, as the tour guides will take you in, we'll get you acclimated, and we have a 2-hour guide of the Louvre. And so it's amazing because it's going to take you through the 10 to 14 most important things that everybody needs to see. And then if you've had your fill, you can go, or if there's specific things you want to see, you have a lot of time in there as well. And so that's a great part of the tour, because we'll help you see what we know is amazing that you have to see, but then you get to also go explore other parts. I think the last time we were there, we went and did Babylon, all the art from Babylon and the different things that they had, which was really neat as well. So you can definitely go back 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And you can stay all day if you want, or if you get done with it early, you can head out of the Louvre, and then we'll walk you down to the Champs-Élysées, as well as the Arc de Triomphe here, and give you an opportunity to see one of the biggest shopping streets in the city, as well as this beautiful Arc de Triomphe, which you can go up to the top in.
And it's the Opera Garnier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Famous for the Phantom of the Opera, right? And this clock, it's in the Orsay Museum, just across the river from the Louvre. I was just in there for the first time since COVID, and very nice, very well done and laid out. And so it has modern art from the Impressionist period on up into the 1947 or something, 48 maybe, let's say that. And from there, we fly to Rome. And so we go to Orly Airport, I hope, and we fly for about an hour and a half to Rome, arrive there, and then we hit the ground running there in Rome, in the capital city, visiting the Colosseum the first day, and just trying to embrace the hotel neighborhood area. And so that's that. And then we hit the Colosseum. There's a Colosseum there, and visit the Forum, which is nearby. And the Colosseum, I've got this. It's so crowded that nowadays I've prepared myself and Molly, who works with me as well. We prepared this audio guide that is about 45 minutes of content of me talking into your ear, basically. And while you're waiting in line and going to see the Colosseum, it explains a little bit about it. And it seems to work pretty good. And that way we don't have to wait in line. We don't have to hire a guide, and you have to listen to a guide that you can't understand because there's a heavy Italian accent or anything like that. So we get to go into the Colosseum on the first day. We also have a guide to the Forum as well. It's usually in the late afternoon that we do that. And there's not a tree in sight in either of those structures. So it's always going to be hot. So we just know that it is. But it's something that you cannot miss when you go to Rome. And then we get together and we have dinner. One of the 4 types of pasta that is served in Rome. This one is spaghetti amatriciana. Yep, yep. And that's I like this meal. It's veal saltimbocco, which is veal with prosciutto on top of it. And then there's all kind of pasta as well. As always, every restaurant has a version of tiramisu, which is each one is different. Yeah, and this is the place that you guys went to the last time as well. There near the hotel.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then the second day we do our what I call our historic walk through Rome, visiting the Pantheon right here and the Trevi Fountain. We try to hit that in the evening, maybe. And then the Spanish Steps, which that's got to be from a few years ago because the last time I was there, you couldn't see the steps. There were so many people there.
Well, now it's illegal to sit on them.
That's true. Yep.
So looks like there's people sitting there.
They got whistles. The whistles that are blowing every time someone tries to sit there.
Police officers are asking.
And this is one of my favorite squares called the Campo dei Fiori, the little field of flowers. And we like to go to this little graffiti decorated restaurant called Sarah Vero. I can't remember, something like that. And then we like to have dinner there.
So when we were there last,
Yep.
You have all the street vendors that come around with their sacks of things that they lay out.
Yep.
There was actually one where they're from, which we would usually see in Florence, the leather market selling bags. So I was able to get some contraband bags.
And this square when we were there was full of tents set up and selling all kinds of things from food to.
Sure, if you go during the daytime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the morning, where the vantage point from this photo, in the morning is a flower market. The afternoon is, as John said, a market that sells all kind of stuff. And then they clean it all up within 30 minutes, and it clears out, and it's a hop-in bar area in the night, all the way up until 2 and 3 in the morning. Then the next day we go to the Vatican Museum. This is a snap I took just recently because, it's the Jubilee year, and I wanted to show this line stretching all the way down about 400 yards to the entrance to the Louvre Museum. Luckily, we have a guide. All the way to the Vatican Museum. And luckily, we have a guide that gets us in pretty quickly. And were y'all with Julia?
We were with Julia.
Yeah, tell us about Julia a little bit.
Julia's great. I will say with that line, it does feel like it's going all the way to Louvre back in Paris if you're standing it.
Right.
So having Julia to kind of get you around and through, and she is incredibly knowledgeable, originally from America, and then married a gentleman over there. And so she's great and very much easier to understand than a lot of the other guides. And a lot of fun, and then also gives great restaurant tips as well.
Okay. Yeah. So this is some of the scenery inside the Louvre Museum. Mine is, this is the Belvedere torso, which I like because Michelangelo used that for many of his drawings, and especially in the Sistine Chapel and everything else as a model for that. It's supposedly the perfectly formed torso of a human being. And then just outside in the courtyard, one of the stairways, the Renaissance stairways to get there, and of course the dome of St. Peter's Cathedral nearby. And then you can walk around and go in either the back door, depending on the time of year and how crowded it is, or you walk around to the front and go into St. Peter's Cathedral, the largest Christian church in the world. And this is a group from a few years back that we were out front sweating away. It was in July. So everybody looks great because we're totally drenched with sweat. And but I do recall that being the hottest day, and when I decided that I was no longer going to lead any tours in July to Italy or anywhere. Yeah. Yeah.
It was June. It was
It was good in June.
Yeah. Another little of the food that is available that we have all the time. On free days, just some foods. So before questions, Jamie, let's get on your free day. I know y'all did something very special. What did you do on your free day?
Oh, we went to a beach in Spelonga.
Spelonga.
And so we just took a train out, and then they have a little bus that'll actually drive you down to the beaches and the little beach towns. And we just stopped at literally just any cafe that we walked past and got lunch, which was phenomenal, and spent some time on the beach. Our travelers that day were very big shoppers. And so they went back down by the Spanish Steps and did a lot of shopping in that district. They did.
That's like Prada and,
yes.
And
Gucci.
Gucci. Yep.
They had
Rolex.
Louis Vuitton passport things that they were getting stamped as well.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, they had a great time down there as well. And so it was just a great day. But yeah, I think Donald before us mentioned the small groups. I think it's one of the great things. We don't do groups more than about 15 or 16 people unless it's specialized like student tour. And so we have the ability to help people find those really cool things that they like to do. Every group, even if we have what we consider a large group, which is 15.
Yeah. Right.
And just as tour guides, we try to do something new and different every time we're there, so that as we continue to go and continue to lead tours, we're able to suggest more and more things to our guests that are coming.
Yeah.
So the question for you two are, what is it that pops to mind that you can't do in Middleburg, you can't do in your home? Wow, I'm here. You know.
Yeah, everything.
It's constant because there's so much history, and we're such a young nation. We don't have that history. We don't have the opulent buildings built by kings that they have there. And then the food. I mean, we live right outside of Orlando. This, has a great food scene. It doesn't matter. You can't find it like you can there. You basically have to teach yourself to come home and cook. And so, in fact, we took a cooking class in Rome the last time we were there for that reason.
And one in Paris.
Yep. So did our tour group. They took one in Paris. They took a cooking class to make, what are those called? I can't remember.
Macaroons.
Macaroons, yes. So, and they came out, I think, there were 5 of them, and they each came out with like 20 macaroons. So they were macarooned out by the end of it.
I bet.
Yeah, just the history, the culture, the architecture, the food, the people. It just goes on and on. The kind of things that you see and experience when you're there versus just completely different in the United States. So that's why we kind of fell in love with Europe is just the culture and just the things that are so different from what we experience here.
And again, the food, we like to eat.
Yeah. We joke that vacations are just about, and these trips are just about filling the time between meals.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. When our kids were young, we used to, as band directors, I learned about Burns Steakhouse down in Tampa, and we would tell our kids, well, we're going to be gone tonight. We're going down to Burns to eat. And you're going all the way to Tampa to eat? But yeah, why not? It's a great place to go to eat. Same thing all over Europe. Hey, Jamie, any questions at all?
Just a couple.
Okay.
Lori said, are you ever going to grow your hair out again?
Well, listen, I feel like I came back and my hair was pretty long because I didn't have it cut for 3 months, but it was nowhere near that long. And no, I'm not going to grow it out because it's way too hot.
And then last one, Carol Cook said, were you able to finish last night's video on Spain? Since I'll be going with you next year, I was sad that the darn internet kept cutting out and you couldn't finish.
Yes, if it's not on the website and YouTube now, it will be. And I did add what we did not finish up on Spain.
And that was it.
Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thanks for monitoring it. Thank you, John and Audra.
My pleasure.
And thank you. Oh, everybody's over here cooking pasta now in the kitchen. But thank you, Bernice and Donald, for being here tonight as well.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you, Charlotte. And with that said, we're gonna finish up and just reminding you that tomorrow we're talking about Central Europe, which is everywhere from Prague, Budapest, Croatia, the Balkans, and everywhere else, all the way down to Greece. And so with that said, thank you so much. Thanks for attending the Tour Expo. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Arrivederci.